Let's start with the chapter Adaptation. Habitat is a special environment in which an organism lives and grows. The habitat of plants and animals vary to a great extent. That means, children, the place where the plants and the animals live, that is known as its habitat. And the habitat of a plant is very different from the habitat of an animal. Various types of habitats are known, such as the aquatic habitat, desert habitat, mountain habitat, aerial habitat, marsh habitat, and so on. Now these are the different kind of places where the plants and the animals are found. Living beings are inseparable from their environment. Now even we need a habitat, a place, an environment where we survive. The environment keeps changing. It is therefore essential that living beings also keep changing to the maximum advantage. Now, because our environment keeps changing, children, the environment is not the same always. Therefore, it is necessary that we also keep on changing ourselves so that we are able to take the maximum advantage of our environment. Now, what is adaptation? Let's see. The ability of an organism to change for the better adjustment with the environment is called adaptation. Now, how we are going to change ourselves, what kind of changes we are going to have in our, in our lifestyle, in our body, so that we are able to adjust with the changing environment is known as adaptation. Next is our environment. The physical and biological conditions in which an organism lives and with which it will interact is called its environment. Now, physical and biological conditions means, children, the physical means the abiotic conditions and biological are the biotic conditions. Now, the physical and the biological conditions we are going to see later in the chapter. But for your knowledge, I am telling you, children, physical means conditions of the environment such as rainfall, temperature, and say sunlight, water, air. So all these are the physical, and biological conditions means the conditions that are living, like the plants and the animals and those things. So how we are able to live and we interact with them is the environment. The organism derives all that it needs to sustain itself and to produce the offsprings from its environment. Now, whatever we want for our life, for our existence, we take all those things from our environment and we spend a healthy life. We even do the reproduction because we are able to get whatever we need from our environment. In other words, the environment in which an organism lives must suit its need. That means whatever we want, we should be able to get it from our environment. Just as an organism cannot survive in all the environments, a particular environment might not be suitable for the survival of all the organisms also. That means, like one organism cannot survive in all the environments. Similarly, all the type of environments are not suitable for every living being. Like a polar bear cannot gets adapted for living in very cold environment. You know what a polar bear is, children? So they are adapted to live in very cold environment. Now if you take a polar bear and you leave them in the desert, then what will happen? They will not be able to survive. Similarly, if you take fishes who are adapted to live in aquatic life, like in water and all, if you take them out and leave them on the land, then what will happen? They will not be able to survive. So every living organism is adapted to live in its own environment and habitat. There are basically two components of the environment, as I told you right now, children. The biotic, that are the living components, which includes like the plants and the animals, and the abiotic component, children, which will include water, air, light, temperature. Every organism is surrounded by a particular set of biotic and abiotic factors. That means around us, we are surrounded by the biotic and the abiotic factors. It can withstand small fluctuations in these conditions, but not drastic changes. Now, organisms are adapted in such a way, children, that a little bit of change in the environment, we can adjust ourselves to. But if the environment gets changed too much, then it will become difficult for the living organism, for the plants, animals and human beings to survive in that kind of an environment, because our body is not used to it, we are not used to it, so it will become very, very difficult. Next we see what is a habitat. Now the place where an organism will live is known as its habitat. Like for the fishes, its habitat is water. For the birds, the habitat is air. That ways. The term habitat is more specific than environment. Habitat will constitute a part of the total environment. Habitat is a small part of the big environment. It must offer to an organism shelter, food and right climatic conditions to survive, reproduce and flourish. What is a habitat, children? A habitat is such a place where an organism is able to find a shelter. Shelter means a place to live, is able to find food to eat, and the climatic conditions are such that the organism is able to survive well. For example, the habitat of a fish is lake, pond, rivers, etc. The habitat of cacti, that is cactus, and camels are the sandy, dry, hot deserts. You know, cactus and camels are two things that are found in the deserts because they are adapted to live in this condition. The habitat of the Indian rhinoceros are grasslands. Similarly, the red blood cells of a human blood is the habitat for the malarial parasite. That means the malarial parasite, if it enters in your body, children, where does it goes and sticks and finds a shelter? In the RBC of our blood. The abiotic component of an organism's habitat can be classified as the climatic factors, the edaphic factors and the physiographic or topographic factors. Now climatic factors, the name is telling, children, it will contain factors such as temperature, light, rainfall. Edaphic means something which is related to soil. So soil texture, what is the soil made up of, how is it? The pH of the soil, this you will learn in your bigger classes, children, the pH. That means, in short, I am telling you, that means how acidic or basic some substances. The nutrients that are found in the soil. Then the physiographic or the topographic factors such as the altitude. Altitude means the height, children. The exposure to the slopes, the steepness, etc. Now another thing which comes is, children, the microhabitats. Now what are microhabitats? Microhabitats are the smaller habitats which are found inside the bigger habitat. Like in your house, a room can be said to be a microhabitat and the whole house is the habitat. A habitat is usually a larger area within which there must be some smaller units also. These smaller units are called the microhabitats. The conditions that are present in one unit can be different from those present in the other unit. The conditions present in one unit can be different from those present in another unit. Like plants and animals present at the bottom of the sea are quite different from those present at the surface. The abiotic and biotic factors present in different regions of the sea are different. Now, as you can see in the picture, children, the biotic life, that means the animals and the plants that are found at the bottom of the sea, are very different from the plants and the animals that are found on the sea, on the top of the sea, or maybe in the middle layers of the sea. Why? Because the conditions are different in different places and different levels, and therefore this affects the flora and the fauna which is found in these places. All these regions constitute different microhabitats. A microhabitat is a small specialized area where a particular species can live. It may be as large as a forest or as small as a plant. A tiger's microhabitat is a forest, while a silkworm will live only on the leaf of the mulberry tree. So, children, a microhabitat is a smaller unit that is present inside a bigger habitat. Coming to the next heading are, children, the types of habitat. How many different types of habitat are there? Basically, the entire world is divided into the three realms or the three spheres, which is known as, children, the atmosphere, that consists of the layer of air, the lithosphere, that consists of the layer of land, and the hydrosphere, where it is water. And biosphere is a zone where all these three realms come and they mix or join together, where the living beings exist. It has four major types of habitats. Now the habitats are of four different types: terrestrial, aquatic, arboreal and aerial. Now let's see one at a time what are these. The terrestrial habitat. Now the organism that live and move on the land is called terrestrial habitat. Terrestrial means something which is pertaining to land. The terrestrial habitat is characterized by the rapid fluctuations in the temperature and moisture. That means the life of the terrestrial habitat keeps changing because the temperature keeps changing, as well as the amount of the water vapor present in the air, that also changes. This habitat is not uniform as there are many barriers like the deserts, mountains, rivers, etc. Life on the land will depend upon the air, soil temperature and the rainfall. Some common terrestrial organisms are the trees, ferns, elephants, camels, etc. Now children, terrestrial because both the abiotic factors as well as the biotic factors, they keep changing. Therefore, the life of the terrestrial habitat also changes. Coming to the next, aquatic. Now the habitat that consists of water bodies is known as aquatic habitat. The organisms living in water are aquatic. Now all those living organisms that are found inside water, that is known as aquatic life or aquatic organisms. Aquatic habitats are fairly stable compared to the terrestrial habitat. Aquatic organisms are classified as freshwater organisms and the marine. Now freshwater means the organisms which are found in rivers, lakes, ponds, and marine means those who are found in seas and oceans. Arboreal habitat is, children, there are many animals that are tree dwelling. That means they are found living on the trees. So that is known as arboreal, like the squirrels. Okay. The last one is the aerial habitat, children. The organisms that stay in the air, that air is known as the aerial habitat. Air is not suitable medium for supporting life, but many organisms have taken to air for many of their activities. That means they go in the air for many of their activities and they spend a lot of their time flying in the air. They include various insects, birds and bats. Now these are children, we say birds are there, the habitat is air. But generally birds do not survive in the air. They spend a lot of time in the air, but then at night when the sun sets, they come back and stay in their nest. Similarly for the insects, most of the insects are found flying in the air, but after some time they come back and sit down on the land. So this is known as the aerial habitat. So with this we come to an end of today's video. So that's it for today's video, children. I hope I made myself very clear to you and you have understood each and every point that I have explained to you in today's video. If you have really understood, you know what is to be done. Please do like, share, comment and don't forget to subscribe. And please hit the bell icon because after that you will be notified with every new video that I am going to upload. See you very soon with rest of the videos upcoming soon. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.